India will be the third largest economy soon.
India will not become a developed nation, not because of resources, not because of population, not because of geography. Because India has never learned to distinguish between national pride and national progress, national potential and national issue. We celebrate world-class airports and bullet train projects while our cities drown in untreated sewage. We inaugurate highways, but can't deliver clean drinking water to our own neighborhoods. We build smart cities on paper, while our existing cities collapse under garbage and gridlock. We are building a developed nation's facade, while living in a developing nation's reality. Pride builds monuments. Progress builds sewage systems. We launched a rover to the moon. We still can't get a government job without paying a bribe. We boast about our startup unicorns, while our courts take years just to resolve a basic commercial dispute. We have digital India on our phones, but analog corruption in our offices. We are innovating for the world stage, while our basic governance remains broken. Potential launches rockets. Progress enforces contracts. For every state wants to be the next Singapore, but no state wants to remove interstate trade barriers. We have a national market on paper, but 30 different fiefdoms in practice. States compete for photo ops with foreign investors, but won't cooperate on basic national standards. We want to be China's alternative, but we can't even move goods freely across our own borders. Pride signs Memorandum of Understanding. Progress removes checkpoints. We have courts, but no justice. We have laws, but no enforcement. We have property rights in our Constitution, but not in our neighborhoods. A developed nation isn't built on GDP. It's built on the certainty that a contract will be honored, that justice won't be sold, and that the law applies to everyone. We are trying to become an economic superpower while remaining a legal third world country. We want to be a developed nation, but we still decide a person's worth by their last name. The caste system isn't just a social evil, it's an economic tax. Every time we discriminate, we lose talent. Every time we exclude, we lose productivity. We are trying to run a modern economy with medieval social software. And then there's the question of safety. We talk about women's empowerment, but here's the reality. Even men are afraid to walk alone at night in our cities. Forget about women. If you cannot walk safely at 2 a.m., you are not a developed nation. Think about what that means economically. A developed nation has a vibrant night economy. Restaurants, shops, entertainment, transport, all running past midnight. That's 12 extra hours of economic activity. That's millions of jobs. That's billions in GDP. But you cannot have a night economy when the night is dangerous. We are leaving half our day and half our potential locked behind the fear of violence. This isn't just about women. It's about every Indian who deserves to walk down a street without looking over their shoulder. It's about creating an atmosphere where every citizen feels safe, respected, and valued. Not by their skin color, not by their religion, not by their language, not by their state, but simply as an Indian. That is all it takes. See every citizen as Indian, walk, and work as one. That is the foundation of a developed nation. We talk about looking outward. We launch grand geopolitical strategies. We call it the Act East policy. We spend diplomatic capital trying to court Southeast Asia, trying to integrate with ASEAN, trying to be the counterweight to China and the Indo-Pacific. But here is the fatal flaw in our grand strategy. You cannot execute an Act East policy if you treat the Northeast as a forgotten backyard. The Northeast shares 5,000 kilometers of international borders with Bangladesh, Myanmar, and China. It is the literal crossroads of South and Southeast Asia. Yet, it contributes exactly 0.3% of India's exports. 50 million people. Let that sink in. That is the population of South Korea. That is the population of Spain. That is nearly 10 times the population of Singapore. We are talking about a workforce, a talent pool, and a consumer market that rivals the most dynamic developed nations on Earth. When we end the prejudice and unlock this unbridled potential, the Northeast becomes a living model of inclusive growth for the entire nation. But Delhi has used bureaucracy as an excuse to neglect the Northeast. The protected area permits tell foreign investors, this place is closed for business. Taiwan targeted Northeast Indians for their skills, not pity but value. The world sees the asset, English, proficient, culturally adaptable, reliable talent. India sees only permits. While the globe knocks, we build walls. Moreover, we call them chinky, and distance them further from integration. The Act East policy will never succeed on a geopolitical map until it succeeds for the people who actually live on that border. We are sitting on a geopolitical and economic treasure, a literal gateway to a market of nearly 800 million people. And we are treating it like a restricted zone. We are trying to do business with Southeast Asia while ignoring the very soil that connects us to it. The Act East policy was about economics. It was about connectivity. But a policy that ignores its own gateway is not a policy. It is a performance. This is not a hypothetical future. The architecture for transformation is already being built. Between 2021 and 2026, India signed or finalized 9 free trade agreements covering 38 countries. From the UAE and Australia in 2022 to EFTA, the UK, Oman and New Zealand in 2024 and 2025, all the way to the massive EU FTA, and the US Interim Trade Framework in early 2026. These agreements are not abstract. They are delivery mechanisms. India's FTAs already account for nearly 57% of total trade and 71% of exports. When this architecture fully kicks in, when these agreements move from paper to practice, it will change India dramatically. But understand this, it will be gradual, not fast. Transforming an economy of 1.4 billion people doesn't happen overnight. It takes years for supply chains to reorganize. It takes time for workers to retrain. It takes patience for infrastructure to catch up. It takes persistence for bureaucracy to adapt. The transformation is coming, but it is a marathon, not a sprint, and we cannot sprint with broken legs. The agreements are signed. The global stage is set. The trajectory has changed. But here is the ultimate truth. You cannot project power outward if you are fractured inward. If you want India to rise, stop telling yourself it already has. Stop celebrating potential while it remains unrealized. Stop calling India a global superpower, while ignoring the basic dignity of its own citizens. The new India is not a birthright. It is a construction site, and construction requires honesty, not delusion. India has the growth. It has the trade architecture. It has the strategic location. It has the demographic dividend. What it lacks is the social unity to walk and work as one. A nation is not built on the trade deals it signs with the world. It is not built on the GDP projections it boasts about at the UN. It is built on the promises it keeps to its own people. It is built on the dignity it grants to its most forgotten corners. We have built monuments to our pride while neglecting the foundations of our progress. We have celebrated our potential while ignoring our issues. The door to transformation is opening, but it is just the first door. The rest of the house is waiting. Let's get to work.